So as everybody knows, the Flamethrower got a pretty big and significant buff. Increased the damage of it by 50%. So I thought, let's take this weapon into a Helldive setting and make a whole build around it, a pyromancy build, and push it to its limits. And pushing it to its limits, we do, and you get some surprising results out of doing this. Now the build we ran the Flamethrower, the shield stratagem pack to protect us from enemies that would swarm us when they were burning, and believe me, that happens a lot. We would also run the napalm strike because fire and pyromancy, and then we would later on into the match run the orbital gas strike because fire and gas love each other, to some mixed results out of the gas strike. We also run the incendiary grenade and the incendiary shotgun, and we run this nice orange looking armor. The first mission was a eradicate mission, and this just sums up how it went. Should protect us from those instances where they get up on us like this. This is working out very well, actually. A lot better than I expected. Not much really happens in the exterminate mission aside from the mechs being used and my teammates obliterating everything with them. So I couldn't really judge, except just based off of a few small instances where I got swarmed and I was able to clear everything. Now this mission here starts to show the weird little dance that you have with this Flamethrower and how good it can be in combination of the napalm strike and the gas strike. You have to essentially weave your way in and out of a bunch of different enemies, and if you can keep the horde under control, it allows your teammates to focus on the much bigger threats. You can't help but feel like a fucking badass during it. Oh shit! And that moment right there is where it started to click. Pop your shield, make sure your shield is up, mind you, get distance, and just spray and pray and burn everything. You start to get overwhelmed and you see your shield start to get low, run away, reload your canister, turn around and spray and pray. Also using my incendiary shotgun to clean up the stragglers instead of having to waste the Flamethrower on them. This is where it all started to click in my head and figure out that I'm onto something.
Calling in orbital strike! Log tunnel breach! That's called democracy! Heavy, southeast, close.
So that seems to be the issue with
Reinforcing!
when there's multiple armored like that around. That's the issue. Like these bigger enemies, I can't do anything. Now these smaller ones I can have a field day in.
How'd you like the taste of freedom?
That moment there made me realize the one glaring weakness of this build against the Terminates. Bile Titans. And necessarily Chargers to an extent. As seen there when the Bile Titan came up, I had no choice but to tuck and run. That is the main issue. With those trash mobs such as Brood Commanders and Warriors and Hunters and Scavengers, I can easily clean them up. These Bile Titans is what puts a wrench in this build where I had to rely on my teammates to take out the heavier targets. And they do later on, but we get to see this in action more. The charger goes down with relative ease, for the most part. Granted, I had a teammate shooting it with a railgun. This just shows if you can coordinate with your team and have one shoot it while you burn it and rack up damage over time, it can go down. However, when multiple chargers come into play, this is where it starts to get interesting.
Requesting air support. Get some. Calling in reinforcements. Last reload. Last reload. Ready to liberate. Have a taste of democracy! Reinforcing!
Mission at 10 minutes remaining.
Rolling in orbital strike. Sending in an eagle! Sending in an eagle!
As more and more chargers showed up, my fuel ran lower and lower. I had to incorporate essentially a type of dance of focusing the charger and then turning around and focusing my fire on the weaker enemies around said charger, in hopes that my teammates would kill that charger. Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't. In a full group, this wouldn't be an issue. But the dance between looking at the smaller ads and then the charger is, in a sense, very addicting. You get into a rhythm, a flow of going back and forth between the two.
That's called democracy!
I'm sorry, y'all, that I'm being quiet. I am like having to juggle so much shit, honestly, with this. So when it gets overwhelming, like momentum is everything in this game. We lost our momentum for a little bit.
Liberty has seen you through.
If I can keep the horde back, then it works. It's just these bigger targets. Like the Chargers, the Bile Titans. We'll try this out against the bots in a later video if y'all want to see me do that. Or we could try like a wizard build with electricity.
Requesting air! Requesting Eat this! Requesting orbital strike.
Incoming.
Sending in an eagle.
Eagle 1 returning to destroyer for resupply.
Calling in reinforcements. Point me to the enemy. Orbital strike. That's called democracy. Going down the support weapon. Requesting tac. Canister's empty. Requesting advanced weaponry. We've got equipment.
Oh my lord.
Calling in reinforcements. Democracy has landed. Canister's empty. For super! We've got equipment. More weapons. Thank you. We've got equipment. Thank you. Requesting tac. Going down a support weapon. Have a taste of democracy!
Certainly pushing this thing to its limits. Like, we are very much pushing this thing to its limits, and I'm having to focus super hard. Like, it's a weird little dance, having to bob and weave between the bugs.
Reinforcing! Empty!
Request approved. Deploying reinforcements.
Ready to liberate! Fire in the hole!
Damn.
I got the orbital!
Trying to get into the damn wombo combo.
Sending in an eagle! Requesting orbital strike! Throwing grenade!
Well, definitely not gonna win this anymore. Oh. Oh. That just happened. A game crash. The one thing that ended our run. Unfortunate that we lost all of our progress for our samples and our war bonds. However, I look at it as I got to see the flamethrower pushed to its absolute limits and this pyromancy build pushed to its limits. It excels in crowd control and clearing the lesser trash mobs from your brood commanders down to your scavengers. Bile spewers and chargers you can manage however you will need support from your team, or you will have to dance in and out between the smaller mobs and these bigger ones. When the Bile Titan shows up, there's unfortunately nothing you can do. You'll have to tuck and run, and that's this build's main weakness. When these larger enemies show up, and your ammo economy. Because if your team is constantly going through bug breaches, you are going to run through fuel like it's nothing. However, it is a very fun build, and it's at its strongest in a team setting when you are with a group of friends who you can communicate with. There's a charger over here. There's a Bile Titan over here. Focus your stratagems on that Bile Titan there. Hey, there's too many chargers. Use a rail cannon strike on this charger here to thin the horde. With that being said, if you want to see me try any more type of builds, drop them down in the comments below, and I might make a video out of them. I appreciate all the support. You guys have been amazing on the past 2 Helldivers videos. With that being said, I'm going to showcase the build right here in a picture if you want to replicate it. I hope all y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to become a SEAL baby, and I'll see all y'all in the next one.